So just hopping back in here into our Arnold Schwarzenegger. Maybe we'll go ahead and make a few more quick decisions here. Got my brush here, my oil painting brush, and go ahead. I was kind of putting some of this. Then one of the other brushes I use is this one that has a nice kind of blur to it, a little bit of a smudge. It drags the paint a little bit across the canvas, so use some of it to just kind of blend some of these areas in a little bit. Actually, I can even hit the smudge tool and just kind of blend some of these just to kind of get a little bit more mixture of some value in there. And kind of pull some colors out in different directions. Kind of always just, your eyes just bouncing back and forth, left to right, looking at there's old thigh. So, and then kind of smooth this out a little bit, and then we'll come back and look at it again and continue just kind of the same process. Just go back over and look for the values. All right, and then looks like we do need to get his hands a little closer together here. And, so I would look at, this area, like this line, I guess like a plumb line here between where his hand is on this side of the screen. His hand comes up almost right to that area there, so right to the side of his head. So we're just looking at his eyes. Actually could move over just a bit. Probably move his nose as well. Mouth, just keep all that lined up. Go. And just keep moving along here. Oops. Gonna go ahead and I'm going to kind of use this other brush for a little while. Now I kind of blocked it in with the one brush and see if we can maybe go back to it eventually, but I want to see if I can get some of these values to read as I'm seeing them here on the other side of the screen. That's a good tone there. May just fast forward it every now and then so people can just kind of watch it go through the process of it all. Okay, so this part of his face isn't really working, and then it's a little bit thinner here. Go ahead and let's look at flipping that dude. Give it that way my eyeball gets a little practice at seeing something a little different there. Looks like he's this arm right here is maybe, I don't know, some of the shadows look like they're kind of lining up okay, but mess with it a little bit more and see what we can come up with. On these forearms, okay, his hand does kind of completely come all the way past his thigh there. There we go. Then we got a nice highlight right here on the outside of his bicep. Those are always fun. The best parts are coming back in when you're getting close to that point where you're getting to add a few highlights. Now I'm just putting them in here just to kind of help find objects to look at so we can continue to define shapes. So his eyeballs are let's see this. So it's kind of like might make it a little, do a little work on his face here, just to take a moment and see if we can clean up his face just a little bit, so we can use it as a guide as we work on some other areas of the figure. All right, so let's see here. Okay, we'll look at that. Get some shadows here across his forehead. And then his mouth, I did just jack that all up. That obviously shows that gotta get this chin back over here. He does not have this, so get this eyeball, the white of his eye. Gotta consider the distance there. Pick up a little bit of that background color so we can use that white. And he's looking more at us. Beyond us. He's looking beyond us. Biting his lip. This will be interesting how we're going to solve that. Mr. Schwarzenegger. It's got some really, we got right under here in this area, we got going almost to, right here, we got almost going to black. Well, black from the density of the color on the screen at least. We don't have to go that black for the painting, but yeah, always just kind of just floating around here, making little decisions here and there. It's kind of like a little puzzle. Everything is kind of put together slowly. And you get to a point where you feel maybe like you even got it nailed down a little bit. You think, well, maybe, hey, I think this is kind of looking good. And what you do is you just flip that canvas and all of a sudden you see all the problems you weren't seeing before. It's a wonderful way to help keep your brain really likes to just go with what's easy, and so you gotta keep it sharp by adjusting and flipping it back and forth. It's funny is like here, this shadow under the chin, it's like there's not much value to show that there's change there. That transition, old days I'd want to draw a line there, but just a slight little bit of value adjusting there, and that's where you get the shape of the face. Again, all these things, like, we have the privilege of getting to work on digital, so, just because I may get something blocked in here and not be completely satisfied with it, and it's so easy just to then just grab it with a lasso tool and come back through and adjust it. See, like now my eyeball just finally realized how horrible this chin isn't, quite working. The eye's a little bit over, but we'll get there. Just go one little nudge at a time. Some of these highlights are fun, like I said, everything we put down is kind of just as another little guidepost to show us where we're going to go next. As far as blocking this out and the form of it, this is, for me, is figure drawing. It's more of a just puzzle that you kind of put together versus, drawing out your box shape, or if we were going to draw a head, if I was going to draw his head, you'd want to draw your lines to kind of have the elements that help you distinguish how you're going to break up his positioning on his head. But so it's definitely not there yet. This barely a Schwarzenegger, but at least it's helps us kind of make some other decisions with these muscles as we kind of pull everything together. So a little polish on his head. We're not there yet, but we'll be getting there, and I'll bounce back in just a second. Take a pause here so we don't get these videos too long. Thanks for watching.